What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of KozMatt's Wrestling Recap. Man, did Monday Night Raw kick off with a great match. Let's get right into this thing, Matthew. How you doing?
You know, I stayed up late last night watching the show, and I think it was a show that was worth watching. The beginning of the show, I actually didn't expect this to happen. I more so thought it would be the main event. I kind of wish they were both the main event and the beginning of the show. They were kind of swapped, but nonetheless, there's nothing I could complain about for this show. I think every single spot, every single segment, it just made sense and it just had us on our toes. You know what I mean? But we'll get through those certain type of segments as you listen through to the show. But the beginning of the show starts with the United States Championship match. Bobby Lashley, the current champion, defending against Seth freaking Rollins. The crowd was hot all night, especially for this match. Seth Rollins, man, he was hot too, but there were moments where I was like, oh, I think Seth Rollins could win this thing, and you know what, they did a great job keeping us on our toes like that. But I knew it wasn't going to happen. Matt Riddle actually came out to distract Rollins, made 100% sense, and that allowed Lashley to hit him with a spear. It would have been for a nice clean finish, but WWE has to build up Riddle versus Rollins, and they have been doing it something like this in the past few weeks, especially during each other's matches, and it makes sense. But they made Prestige come back to the United States Championship, and I can't complain.
Oh, absolutely not, man. This was a great way to kick off the show. They did just enough balance to show like the challenger might have a chance of winning, and then Bobby Lashley using that MMA background to reverse some of Seth Rollins' more powerful moves. Man, it was just absolutely phenomenal, and
Yeah.
great United States Championship match to kick it off.
Now, what I want to talk about next, I kind of wish that it was a segment, so it ended up becoming a match, and it was the main event. I kind of wish the United States Championship was the main event, and this was the beginning of the show. But it was Bailey, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai coming out for a special women's tag team championship celebration in the ring. Um, Streamers, pyro,
Oh,
and
yeah.
just golf cart. Bailey driving to the ring, confronted by Bianca Belair, Asuka, and Alexa Bliss. Alaska for then challenging Bailey to a match on the show, which actually was the main event. But we will get to that. But it also was a bang. Now it was time for the scheduled most anticipated matchup. One of the matches I really wanted to get to: Kevin Owens versus Austin Theory. Austin Theory did not give up once he really showed who he is in WWE, and he keeps saying he is the future. And you know what? I can believe it. The way he just puts on matches, it's phenomenal. Kevin Owens too. There, you don't have to say anything about it. He's just a prize fighter, man, and prize. It speaks for himself. You know, Owen kind of just elevates anybody he faces just more and more. But it actually came to a point at the end of the match where Theory had Kevin Owens down and the briefcase was on the side near the ring post. And Theory went to go grab it, but all of a sudden, Johnny Gargano shows up to prevent Theory from using the briefcase, allowing Kevin Owens to hit up a pop up power bomb for the win. So we really are going to see a nice feud between Gargano and Theory built up more and more, I believe, towards Extreme Rules.
Yeah, two things I have to say about this match is I applaud WWE and Triple H for combining storylines and making it make sense with these run-ins. It's no more like
Mm-hmm.
we just have a random superstar run-in. Everything makes sense now. They're
Right.
building these storylines great, and Kevin Owens, like you said, he just elevates anybody. And you know what? I think Austin Theory is going to cash in that Money in the Bank sooner rather than later.
And you know what? And if he does, he has to become successful. It's not like he's not going to become successful. They're just waiting for that perfect moment. And I'm just on my toes. I want it to happen. I really do. And I would love to see Theory as a champion. Um, but it is going to happen sooner than later, and I can just promise that. Moving next, Rich Holland and Butch coming out to give a promo about their plans to win the tag team titles, which is this coming Friday night on SmackDown against the Usos. They were actually interrupted by Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins impromptu tag team match. I'm happy this is a tag team match that we saw these four men in. Highly competitive. Holland and Butch scored a clean win to just keep momentum going into their title shot against the Usos.
Yeah, I love this rotation of the tag teams. Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins had their shot at the titles. Now they're elevating other tag teams to get them ready
Yep.
to face the Usos. So it all works out beautifully.
Yeah, it does. And you know what's beautiful? Dominic Mysterio in the Judgment Day.
Oh, I love this, man. I was very shaky about this at first, but it just works. And Dominic Mysterio, man, is a heel. I love it.
Right. Well, we were scheduled Riddle and Ray versus Finn Balor and Priest in a tag team match. Of course, Rhea Ripley and Dominic Mysterio ringside for this as well. It was a great match. It was faster paced in the second half of it. All four men just with crazy impressive moves. We could just see some more dissension between Dominic and Ray throughout the match. Balor was able to pin Ray with a coup de grace. The match was great, but there was a good amount of interference, excuse me. But it just made sense, kept the storyline going, the father-son drama. This is a great way to keep building them up.
Oh, absolutely. And I cannot wait to see a one-on-one match between these two, probably likely at an upcoming pay-per-view.
I think so. What I want to talk about next, Kyle, I think this was one of my favorite segments of the night.
Oh
Not
yeah,
favorite,
for
it
sure.
wasn't a match, it was just a great segment. We did have a few backstage altercations, but this one just made the most sense. So it was something I did not expect at all, and that's what I love to see. Miz and Ciampa out for an episode of Miz TV. Talking about, of course, Dexter Loomis and what's been going on. Miz actually demands Loomis comes out to the ring and talks to him. Um, but it ended up being where Miz is like, you know what? I see you're not going to come down, blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden, the knife is put through the bottom of the ring canvas, and it's Dexter Loomis, just like Kane used to do years back, pulling his opponents through the ring. It ended up being Loomis trying to pull the Miz down, but Ciampa was able to make the save. But it just, it I wanted to see an answer. It just keeps building the storyline, which is okay, but I want an answer on why Loomis is, attacking the Miz.
Oh, you want an answer? I want a match, man. I want to see Dexter Loomis in that squared circle facing off against the Miz. And you know what? I love this build-up. Enough's enough, man. I'm on the edge of my seat. We got to see these two square off.
Well, it's not like I don't want a match. Of course, I want a match, but I want to know why he's attacking the Miz. And of course,
Oh
if you
yeah.
create a storyline like this, there has to be a full reason why. And I don't know if they have a reason, but hopefully they do. But maybe it's just something. Hey, throw the Miz because he could sell a lot of things and storylines. But maybe that's the case. I don't know. But there's got to be a reason why. And I think they've been pushing that. So I hope we do see that. So what I want to talk about next, Little Miss Bliss versus Bailey, our main event. Leader damage control Bailey able to turn things around. Alexa really was able to show her worth against Bailey. You know what I mean? This was a good match. I wish it was the beginning of the show and then the United States Championship was the end of the show. There was a time in this match where the lights went dark. I think it's something that happened in California. It's like something the government will talk about. It's called a rolling blackout. But the lights went pitch black and then they turned back on. But people were speculating some things. But throughout the night, there has been a few teasers with that white rabbit. There was
Dude,
somebody
that
in the
was
crowd, I
very
guess, who was
interesting.
holding up a QR code through the backstage or through the arena where the opposite side of the hard cam, and people actually use their cameras. And once it showed up on their camera, it was a time, and it was for this Friday, something like that. It was a date and a time. It was like 9:23, which is this Friday, and people are speculating at 9:23 SmackDown this coming Friday, we're going to see a answer on what's going on, or another teaser possibly. But there was just a lot going on throughout the show too. Bailey able to kind of turn things around and cleared off the announce table, thinking Alexa Bliss was going to go through it, but that did not happen. But Bliss was able to, turn things around, but I didn't see her getting a win. Bailey was able to score the win off the top rope. We did see Damage Control basically beat down Bliss, Asuka, and Bianca Belair, who also were ringside for this match. So you know what? Damage Control is indeed in control, and I think it's time to descend Bliss, Asuka, and the Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair.
Oh yeah, for sure. This was a pretty interesting way to end Monday Night Raw. Like you said, with that QR code with the 923, man. It's just got us all wondering what's gonna happen. You know what? I don't mind seeing like these all six of these women go at it, but you know what? I think Alexa Bliss deserves to be in that Raw Women's Championship picture, and I think she's gonna turn on Bianca Belair after this match that they have at Extreme Rules
Yep.
between all
And
six.
they're teasing more so Bliss coming back as the goddess. The kind of teasing her character has not been herself lately.
Yeah,
Kind of
absolutely.
teasing a new gimmick. And you know what? This is something she needs, and I've been hoping for this. And they do see that, but they're trying to find a way to kind of make it make sense and turn it into a storyline of her changing her gimmick rather her just coming back as the goddess. You know what I mean? They're really putting time into it, and that's what makes the product great.
Oh, absolutely. Talk about great, man. This show was absolutely phenomenal. A plus for Monday Night Raw and Triple H, man. He just keeps putting out bangers. One thing's for sure,
Yeah.
KozMatt will keep you guys updated on everything that you need to know going on in the wrestling universe. We'll have some NASCAR recaps for you. The season's coming down to an end. So like, comment, and subscribe, guys.
Yeah, SmackDown as well. I just love dissecting these episodes little by little because the storylines are great. There's Easter eggs, man. I love it. But NASCAR is gonna be a wild ride, crazy stuff happening there. But SmackDown, especially, a recap Saturday morning for you. Some stuff's gonna happen. Shit's gonna hit the fan, especially the Extreme Rules coming. But before we go, I did want to talk about Seth Rollins. Attacked Riddle backstage before the end of the show, actually. Challenging him to, I think it was a pit fight. So it's not something we haven't seen before. But it certainly makes sense for Riddle, the style of Riddle and Rollins, a pit fight. So I think that's coming Extreme Rules.
Oh, absolutely. You know, we got War Games coming up for Survivor Series too, something that we've only seen one more time on NXT in the recent years. And, it's just going to be a wild ride for WWE, man. Triple H is putting his stamp on it, and I love to see it. Guys, like, comment, and subscribe. KozMatt will keep you guys updated on everything that you need to know going on in the wrestling and sports universe. And we'll see you guys later. Peace out.
Peace.
Come on and fight.